Are you thinking about building your own custom home? Well, typically the first thing that comes up is budget. What is in this budget? So we're going to take some time today to walk through how we develop a budget with you. Hi, this is Erin Stetzer with Stetzer Builders. We are a luxury home builder in Houston, Texas, and thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk about how we budget for a home, and so let's just talk through the process of that. So typically when a client wants to build a luxury custom home, they're really invested in this process. They're invested financially, they're invested emotionally, and this is a big time commitment. So first stop typically is with the architect, or maybe even the designer, perhaps even that team together. And the reason for that is the architect and designer really set your home up for success up front. And what I mean by that is they will develop the visions and goals that you share with them and they share with you, and y'all really need to understand each other first to then develop a functional home, an efficient home, a family home, like really meet your goals. So through that process, a pricing set is developed. It's an architectural set of plans that is used to then reach out to multiple builders so that you can get feedback from builders, right? So you'll get pricing feedback, you'll meet with your builders, you'll understand personalities, you'll get to learn how they think, you'll understand their level of quality, their level of expectations. You'll walk a finished home with the builder. And so you'll go through this whole sort of preliminary exercise in pricing. Okay, so you've done all this work with your architect, your designer, and you've interviewed builders. You have the feedback, and there's an analysis, there's an approach at how the information is absorbed. So you'll sit down with your architect and You'll run through the budget, and what you'll find is a couple of things. One, you may see large gaps between budgets, which the first thing there is something's not understood, like something's not clear. So ding, 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 the architect says, got it. We need to be a little bit more clear with what we're communicating with people. The second thing is when the plans are priced out, it's typically sent out to comparable builders, meaning these builders execute at a certain level of quality. And so you want to make sure that pool is consistent. If you see an outlier, well, maybe that builder may not be appropriate for what you're trying to execute. So that's another thing to look out for. And then the third thing is real information, right? Like, what does this home cost? Everybody has a budget. Really, everybody does have a budget, whether we want to admit it or not. And it gives you a chance to really work through some of the areas in that budget that are important to you in your home. Like, then you'll go through, okay, well, this wine room, I have to have this wine room. This is really important to me. Or, hey, we're okay with maybe an appliance that holds the wine, right? So is it a $100,000 situation or is it a $20,000 situation? So you can work through certain components in the budget to then refine the budget. One thing I do want to mention, you do want to pick your builder before you go into a deep dive into the budget. And the reason I say that, and the reason you want to do this, is a builder who really wants to be part of this team will go above and beyond with giving you the information. So you really want to get this team developed before you go into a deep dive, because it is very time consuming, and you want everybody who's involved in the project thinking about you and your goals. So that requires lots of energy from people. So now you've selected your builder, and this is where the real work begins. So remember, the pricing set really provides about 60% of the information that a builder needs to actually create a budget for you. The next thing that happens is the architect and the designers will give the information, the updated information, which is a construction set of plans, right? So you go from a booklet of maybe 10 pages, and it could be 40 pages, 50 pages, 100 pages, whatever it may be. That is the construction set. The designer is going to also deliver on the plumbing selections, the appliances, the hardware. So we get all that information, and here's when the real work begins. We go through the plans and we identify each cost code. And the reason we identify each of these cost codes is so that we can develop a comprehensive budget that we can review as a team. So what does that mean, right? We develop this budget and then we huddle up. We get around the table, the client, the architect, the designer, the builder, and we get to work. We go through each line item and identify, okay, how important is this to us? Is this critical, right? So what's driving this budget? And one of the things we do is we identify the top 5 to 7 components that actually drive this budget. And I'll give you a few examples. It could be something like, do we want copper gutters or aluminum gutters? Is the house full of structural steel, or could we value engineer it with, let's say, lumber? Do we have a wine room, or do we have an appliance that holds our wine? Do we have a sauna? Do we really want the sauna? Yes, we love the sauna, keep the sauna. Yoga, exercise room. So we go through all of these larger spaces as cost drivers, and we also identify the smaller cost codes. And once we've done that, and that takes quite a bit of time, that could take several meetings, several days, lots of follow-ups, but we do get to a comprehensive budget that everyone fully understands from the start. And that's the key. We're all on the same page. We're all expecting the same things from the start. We need to be clear about that budget. So what does all this mean? Like, how much does a home really cost? And how can I give you that information up front? Well, there are different business models, right? So if the same home is being built in a neighborhood hundreds of times, that budget has been developed. And if, let's just say I built that home 100 times, you come to me and say, Erin, how much does that cost per square foot? Well, that's $150 a square foot. Boom, you got the answer like that. When we go to the other side, which is luxury home building, it is truly a luxury price. That is a developmental process with a team of folks to then deliver your goals. And so I cannot answer that question up front, but I can answer that question when we go through the proper channels and process of communication and hard work. So that's my answer. Do you like it? So today we talked about how we develop your budget pre-construction. And in our next video, we want to talk about how do we manage that budget through construction. So thanks for joining us. I hope that was helpful, and we'll see you soon.